Good morning and welcome on this beautiful Mother's Day, May 9th. Thank you so much for being here. All of us at One World wish a fabulous Mother's Day to all the mothers and the grandmothers and the stepmothers and all who bring that loving, mothering energy. I hope you have a fabulous Mother's Day, a fabulous weekend. And again, thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful that you made the decision to be with us for the next 45 minutes or so. We have a great gathering for you today. We have some more wonderful One World music. We have the chance to join together in prayer. We're going to bless our kids and find out exactly what they are doing this month. And we're going to share a talk which continues our May theme on your 12 steps. And this week, what I am going to do is I am going to turn to the East, and we are going to explore the Buddhist tradition, the Eightfold Path, which gives us one of the most practical and one of the clearest paths to awakening and peace and enlightenment. And following our gathering today, we have the second of our new member class. For those who were there last week, it will be at noon. It'll be about 30 minutes. It's the same Zoom link we used last week. If you are interested in joining that class and you weren't there last week, please email me at info@oneworldspiritualcenter.net and I will send you the link for that brief class following our gathering today. Again, that is noon to 12:30. So let's take a moment right now and just bring our awareness to this beautiful, particular moment. I am so glad to be back in the yard that I was shooting from last year. It's just beautiful. I hope you can hear the birds and the sounds, and maybe as we go on, some of them will swoop through. I can see them all flying around. It is just beyond beautiful to be here right now, and I hope you can sense some of that through the video. So let's just take a deep breath and form the intention to bring our awareness right here for the next 45 minutes or so, to be together, to celebrate and share and grow and let our energies just come together as the beloved community that we are. So let's just take a breath and relax wherever you are, and let's just be together right now in this moment. And so for our opening prayer, because we are going to be talking about the Buddhist tradition today, I've selected a prayer from that tradition, and it's about being awake. It's by an anonymous author, so I invite you to listen. With every breath I take today, I vow to be awake, and every step I take, I vow to take with a grateful heart, so I may see with eyes of love into the hearts of all I meet, and ease their burden when I can, and touch them with a smile of peace. So for today, and as we move forward, let's keep that energy of peace, of awakening, of gratitude, of compassion and new beginning. And so with that, I am pleased to bring you our opening song. Please enjoy. opportunity in our gathering to join together in prayer. I hope you can hear that. These birds are beautiful. So for the next few moments, we have the chance to join our energies and our hearts together in prayer to certainly lift and support each other up, and to widen the circle and extend our loving energy to all beings, to our global community, to a world that needs the light that each one of us can bring to it. So I invite you, wherever you are, your deck, your office, your backyard, wherever, just simply take a deep breath all the way in and just let it flow out as we bring our awareness right here and right now, moving our focus from our busy minds down to our heart space, feeling our hearts warm and open and soften as we breathe and sit and simply smile. Taking another deep breath and letting it flow out as we prepare to join together in prayer. Creator God, source of all the beauty that surrounds us, the sights, the sounds, all the elements of this beloved and wonderful creation. We are grateful for this day, for this moment, for this opportunity to be alive, to bring our gifts and our joy and our creativity to this day, to this moment. We commit to being the hands and the feet and the voice of compassion, of peace, of love, of the holy here on earth, so that we may become the beloved community that we know that we can be. We say thank you, and so it is. And together we say, Amen. So let's take a few moments, and if you have a prayer request, a beloved on your heart, a challenge that's coming up, a circumstance in your own life, this is our opportunity, communally and individually, to lay that concern within the circle of our loving energy. So let's sit and be and breathe just for a moment as each one of us just let's rest in our awareness, whatever is on our heart, whichever beloved is in our heart, so that we may take this time just to pray together. Mother, Father, God, we release to you each of the beloved on our hearts, as well as each challenge we face, each circumstance that is coming over the horizon which we cannot see. We release any uncertainty and any fear. May we be strengthened. May we know that we do not walk alone. May our minds be at peace. May we all be comforted and uplifted and whole and healed. And we widen our circle to include all beings, all neighbors whom we love but yet will never meet. For those who live with illness, in fear, surrounded by violence, all who are displaced or lonely or in any tribulation at all. May they be protected. May our light and love shine out and bathe them with the love and the spirit and the support of the divine. May compassion and peace and love spread. May we do all that we can to see a rise in the consciousness of all, so that we may live in unity and support of each other and peace. May all be protected. May all be well. We are thankful for renewal and healing to come, and so it is. And together we say, Amen. If you ever have a prayer request that you would like to have me share during one of our online gatherings, there is a way for you to do that on our website. You can post a prayer there and it will get to me, or you can email it to me at prayer@oneworldspiritualcenter.net, and I will also receive it. So please, if you do have any prayer requests that you would like me to share, please just let me know and I'd be glad to do that. So to close our prayer time, I'd like to share with you again from the Buddhist scripture, a prayer from the Sutta Nipata, which is an invocation and a wish that all be happy and at peace. So I invite you to listen. Let all beings be happy, weak or strong, of high, middle, or low estate, small or great, visible or invisible, near or far away, alive or still to be born. May they all be perfectly happy. Let nobody lie to anybody or despise any single being anywhere. May nobody wish harm to any single creature out of anger or hatred. Let us cherish all creatures as a mother her only child. May our loving thoughts fill the whole world, above, below, across, without limit. Our love will know no obstacles, a boundless goodwill toward the whole world, unrestricted, free of hatred or enmity. Whether we are standing or walking, sitting or lying down, as long as we are awake, we should cultivate this love in our heart. This is the noblest way of living. And so it is. And so now I'm thrilled to bring you our special music, followed by our talk on the Eightfold Path. Please enjoy.
To be humble, to be kind, it is the giving of the peace in your mind. To a stranger, to a friend, to give in such a way it has no end. We are love, we are one, we are how we treat each other. We are peace, we are war, we are how we treat each other, nothing more. To be bold and to be brave,
Welcome and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and grandmothers and stepmothers among us, as well as to all those who just gift us with that loving mother energy. I hope you have a fabulous Mother's Day and a wonderful weekend and year. Thank you so much for all the love that you give. So my talk today and our theme this month is called Your 12 Steps. Okay, now I know when you hear that, or I'm guessing when you hear that, you took the reference to be to AA 12-Step Program, which is a fabulous program, and we are going to talk about that in 2 weeks. We're going to hear the insight and the wisdom of Asha Lightbearer as she talks about that 12-step program. But that is not my topic this week. The reason I use the image of steps to describe the whole monthly theme is because this month I want to explore the process of moving forward, specifically the steps we take as we structure our own spiritual paths. Here at One World, we know, and we know it from our own lived experience, that our unfolding and our deepening is a very intentional process. The key words are awareness and choice. In our world today, we have the amazingly good fortune to be able to learn about the processes and the steps that so many sages throughout history have taken. Each faith tradition we celebrate and honor here shows us how others have found ways to move beyond, to reach the heights that we as spiritual beings having a human experience can reach. We find out what others have done to find what speaks to us. And then we use that wisdom as we reflect on our own processes, where they benefit us, where we may need to change them. That's what we're doing this month. We are focusing on the process of our own awakening. So today, I'm looking at a tradition that was created for the sole reason of easing human suffering and helping us live together in communities of equity and peace. I'm talking about Buddhism, the Buddhist tradition, or as it's been called, a religion of infinite compassion. The word Buddha itself means the awakened one or the enlightened one. Houston Smith, who's the author of the foundational treatise, The World's Religions, a book I highly recommend, writes that Buddhism began with a man who simply woke up. After his enlightenment, the story goes, he was approached by a student who asked him, "Are you God?" He replied, "No." "Are you an angel?" He replied, "No." "Are you a saint?" Again, he replied, "No." And the man said, "Then what are you?" And the Buddha said, "I am awake." He tells us that while we may be asleep now, we can awaken as well. So, the basic facts of the Buddha's biography are these. He was born Siddhartha Gautama around 563 BCE in what is now Nepal, near the Indian border. His father was a king, as it was described, but it was really probably closer to a feudal lord. The story goes that when Siddhartha was born, his father summoned fortune tellers to learn and tell the baby's future. Everyone agreed that this was an unusual child, but his future was ambiguous. If he remained with the world, he would unify India and become her greatest conqueror. If, on the other hand, he stepped away from the world, he would become not a world conqueror, but a great sage and a world redeemer. So, faced with this option, his father determined to steer his son to become the great king. That was a path that was familiar to him. He knew his son would be successful. So no effort was spared to keep the prince locked into this world and worldly pleasures. He had palaces, he had dancing girls, he had every comfort imaginable. His father gave strict orders that no ugliness of any kind should intrude on his experience. He was to be shielded from contact with sickness, from death, from aging. Even when he went riding, servants were sent ahead to clear the roads of any of these sights. So, one day, when Siddhartha was in his 20s, his servants failed to catch one old man on the path, bent, unsteady, gray-haired. Siddhartha saw him and he asked, "Why does this person look like this?" And his charioteer, his companion, said, "He is old. We age." On subsequent outings, Siddhartha saw a corpse lying by the side of the road. He saw a sick man consumed with disease. He learned of illness and he learned of death. On his fourth outing, he saw a monk begging, and he learned that there are those who separate themselves from the world to seek personal and individual transformation. These experiences did not leave him. They would not leave him. He realized that all he had enjoyed, all he had pursued, would end up in decay and pain and death. It was this inescapable truth that made him despair of finding fulfillment on the physical plane. He said, "Life is subject to age and death. Where is the realm of life in which there is neither age nor death?" Once he had perceived the inevitability of decay and pain and death, he determined to liberate himself from a world that bound him to this pain. It didn't matter how much pleasure you had, how many palaces you had, how rich were your surroundings, if at the end of the day the end was going to be decline and pain and death. He looked for a way forward to a deeper truth where there is none of that. There is neither, as he put it, age nor death. So one night in his 29th year, he got up, he left his wife, his son, and his home in search of awakening. He changed his rich clothing for that of a beggar, and he simply walked away. He lived through years of searching, including 6 years as an extreme ascetic, hoping that the path to enlightenment lay through deprivation of all things physical. At one point, he was eating 6 grains of rice a day, and when he put his hand on his abdomen, he could feel his spine. This did not work. He ultimately adopted what he called the middle way, between the extremes of asceticism and indulgence. However, the practice of the middle way did not in and of itself lead to enlightenment. So, Siddhartha devoted the final phase of his journey to a combination of rigorous thought and mystic concentration, seeking to explore his conscious mind, his subconscious, and down to the deeper level of being itself, what Houston Smith has called the beyond that is within. I love that. The beyond that is within. One evening in northeast India, south of the present city of Patna, he sat down under a fig tree that became known as the Bodhi tree, or the tree of enlightenment. He sat down vowing not to arise until enlightenment was his. Gautama's meditation deepened through the night until his vision broke free, and he finally understood and saw the true nature of the universe. He saw that all is linked together in a constantly shifting and eternal pattern. All, while linked, is affected by the action of each. He saw his many lives in one unbroken continuum. He awakened from the belief in a separate state into the knowing that he was true unlimited being, that we all are true unlimited being. The ultimate reality is that the appearance of our separation into individual ego selves is simply illusion. With this awakening, he moved beyond the finality of pain and sickness and death. He became the Buddha, the awakened one. He rose from the Bodhi tree and began his teachings, which went on for the next 45 years. His focus was liberation from human suffering here and now. He taught so that others could experience what he had just realized. Now, he sometimes frustrated his followers because he had no interest in things metaphysical. He had no interest in discussing theory or theology. What happens after we die? What is God? Do we have a soul? He remained silent on these issues, no matter how much they pressed him. In refusing to discuss these theological niceties, he insisted that such discussions were not useful. And indeed, they distracted his students from the greater need to just practice the practices he taught. To his disappointed followers, who were waiting for all this metaphysical speculating, he told this parable. If a man, he said, is shot with a poisoned arrow, and a doctor is rushed to his side to save his life, would the man say, "Stop! I will not have you remove this arrow. until I know who shot it and why. Who was his family and where did he come from? What caste was he from? What did he look like? Also, I need to know what this arrow is made of, how it was carved, what wood was used in its manufacture. Is it an ordinary arrow or an iron or a razor arrow? What type of bow shot it? And what was the type of bowstring? If the man waited to learn all these things, he would be dead, the Buddha said. The point is to remove the arrow and live. The first lesson the Buddha gave took place shortly after he began his travels. In that talk, he set out the essence of his teachings, known as the Four Noble Truths. These are the key to the process he gave us. The first noble truth is that life is dukkha. This is typically translated as suffering. Now, however, we tend to think of this notion as pessimistic, as if there's nothing that can be done, life is suffering, and then we're all going to die. And it's an immutable truth. Far from it. The Buddha meant that life, as most of us live it, is out of joint, dislocated, and painful. It does not have to be so. And indeed, our true nature is that it not be so. We make ourselves suffer needlessly through ignorance, through desire, and we can stop. These facts of human life, sickness, fear of death, aging, as well as desire for wealth, reputation, or earthly goods, preoccupy us. They distract us from knowing our true and joyful oneness with ultimate reality. This fact leads to the second noble truth, which is that the cause of suffering is attachment or selfish desire. We wish for wealth, for possessions, for position, but all that is going to be lost. We fear sickness, we fear death, which is going to happen. We seek those things that reinforce our ego-driven illusion of separation. These fears, these desires that bind us, are directed to our egos, to our wish for self-fulfillment. They are all about us, what we want, what we don't want, what we fear for ourselves. Whatever feeds the illusion that we are separate gives us pain, because everything we acquire can be lost and ultimately is. It's inevitable. The only truth that remains, that is never lost, is that beyond ego, all remains. True joy comes when we understand on the deepest level that the separation we see and experience is an illusion. And so we must rid ourselves of all attachments which draw us toward that illusion. The third noble truth tells us that our suffering is not inevitable. This is why Buddhism is such an optimistic tradition. It is full of hope and possibility. The Buddha was so practical. He said, this is the problem, this is the cause of the problem, it can be fixed, and this is how. We have a choice. We can live randomly and impulsively, he called this wandering about, or we can live with purpose, concentration, and focus. If we do the latter, if we stay with it, with single-pointed mind, we will awaken. It's not easy, but the rewards are life and freedom and peace. The fourth noble truth tells us that the means to this liberation is the Eightfold Path. As the Buddha said, here is the path to the end of suffering. Tread it. The key was and is practice and persistence. So where do we start? I'm going to lay out the 8 steps with the caveat that any listing I can give in 20 minutes, now less than 20 minutes, is woefully inadequate. I encourage you to look at these wisdom teachings for yourself. There are so many resources available that share insights on the 8 Noble Path, on this wonderful teaching. Although this path is one of individual awakening, the first step is a teaching on community. This is the step we must take before we embark on the Eightfold Path. We must choose wise companions. The Buddha called this right associations. He knew that as social beings, we are so influenced by those we gather around us, they lift us up or they draw us down. We must select our community wisely. One reason why communities like One World and others are so necessary to support, to encourage, to inspire us as we move forward. The prelude, if you will, to the Eightfold Path is right association. The first step on the Eightfold Path is right view. This involves self-awareness, clarity, and reason. The Buddha emphasized that we must use our own minds, our own discernment. He gave us a system that is very suspect of authority, of those who tell us what we must think. He said, be your own light. Do not accept a teaching until you discover its truth for yourself through your own experience. Right view. The second step is right intent. At this point on the path, we ask ourselves, what do you want? Why are you doing what you are doing? The focus here is to make each choice one that moves us forward and does not draw us backwards. Think about all those self-improvement resolutions. I'm going to eat better, I'm going to exercise more, whatever it is. But then what happens? I can start tomorrow. If I eat this today, it'll be fine. I can always start tomorrow. Tomorrow does not come. Turn your intent into action today. It's the only way to move forward. What he meant here was that we must be persistent about what we want, and we must make every action take us toward that goal. The third step is right speech. This is a tough one. It's attention to our language. We normally don't pay much attention to our language. Our speech is such a habit, and it is so unconscious. The advice here is not to say, I will never speak an unkind word again, because that's not going to happen. He also said it's not going deep enough. Instead, we resolve to be aware of our language, asking why we feel the need to speak an unkind word. What is moving us to speak the way we do? When we become aware, yes, it's that word again, awareness, when we become aware of our motivations, we can begin to truly change the way we engage with action. So the first step in terms of right speech is just discerning and becoming aware of what are our motivations to speak the way we do. In this way, we avoid deception. We move toward truth. Houston Smith writes that the Buddha did not condemn deception because it was immoral, that was more metaphysics, but because it diminishes us and it further separates us. We deceive, why? Because we are fearful of something. We are fearful to show our own weakness. We are fearful to show our own fear. We are concealing something about ourselves. Each time we do this, he says, we are shoring up the structure around our ego selves, which is the opposite of what we want to do for greater awakening. The same is true for gossip or unkind speech. Ask ourselves, why are we doing this? Why do we feel this motivation to speak this way? He invites us to look at our motivations, and once understood, to move beyond them. That is the way change happens. The fourth step is right conduct. This is another opportunity to look at our motivations first and understand why we behave the way we do. Am I being generous or fearful? How do I wish to show up to this relationship, this opportunity, this moment? Am I being called to change? Be aware of why we behave the way we do. The fifth step is right livelihood. Our work, our occupation, is so much of what we do in life. The Buddha cautioned that the work we select must be one that is life-affirming, that affirms the convictions by which we want to live. Today, many who focus on this step put their efforts on pursuing their livelihoods with compassion and truth and kindness, whatever your livelihood. The sixth step is right effort. Okay, so what's the teaching here? The teaching here is basically that the journey is a marathon, not a sprint. Keep your eye on the goal and move toward it firmly and steadily. Here, Houston Smith quoted the Tao Te Ching on this point. He wrote, "He who takes the longest strides does not walk farthest." Keep going. Even if you fall off the path, Get back on and take the next step. Don't give up. Slow and steady is right effort, but always moving forward. The next step is right mindfulness. The practice of right mindfulness is at the heart of the Buddhist practice. The opening verse of the Dhammapada, the best known of all Buddhist scriptures, opens with, "Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think." You're going to hear it in a minute, actually, is our reading today. Right mindfulness encourages us to see ourselves and our lives fully and clearly, here and now, and break the bonds of the ignorance and illusion that bind us. So how do we do this? How do we deepen our own mindfulness? Well, we bring an attitude of awareness and curiosity and clarity to all aspects of our lives. We can bring what the Buddhists call beginner's mind to our lives. Instead of assuming we know what's in front of us, we look at it as though we are seeing it for the first time. What is this? And we see it anew. Our consciousness, in most of us, sees so little as our minds just kind of hum along. We can see more, and this is right mindfulness. The 8th step is right concentration. When the Buddha was a child, he was taken to a festival and left for a period of time alone under an apple tree. He sat and was silent, and he found himself absorbed in contemplation. It was his first meditation experience, and he described it as a deliverance. Nothing, he taught, focuses the mind as sharply as such a practice. The story goes he was once asked, "What do you get through meditation?" The Buddha replied, "Nothing at all." And the man responded, "Then, Blessed One, what good is it?" The Buddha responded, "Let me tell you what I lost through meditation. Sickness, anger, depression, insecurity, the burden of old age, the fear of death. That is the good of meditation, which leads to nirvana." The Eightfold Path encourages us to consider how we approach life, every aspect of it, through awareness of our associations, our speech, our intent, our mind, and our actions. It invites us to deepen our understanding of ourselves. Through that door, we develop an understanding of all that is. So this week, we have some homework for Wednesday, our discussion group. Take a look at this list of the Eightfold Path and select one. Consider and practice that step between now and Wednesday. When we get together, let's discuss how that showed up for you, for us, and what lessons we can draw from the Eightfold Path. Think about as well what your own steps are and have been, what you might want to add or change. So I'd like to close with a reading by Tori Whipple from the Dhammapada. Thank you so much for listening.
From the Dhammapada, translated by Eknath Eshwaran. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Suffering follows an evil thought as the wheels of a cart follow the oxen that draw it. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Joy follows a pure thought like a shadow that never leaves. He was angry with me. He attacked me. He defeated me. He robbed me. Those who dwell on such thoughts will never be free from hatred. He was angry with me. He attacked me. He defeated me. He robbed me. Those who do not dwell on such thoughts will surely become free from hatred. For hatred can never put an end to hatred. Love alone can. This is an unalterable law. As irrigators guide water to their fields, as archers aim their arrows, as carpenters carve wood, the wise shape their lives. Thank you.
Many thanks to Tori Whipple for that great reading, and I hope you enjoyed the talk. Between now and Wednesday, please do, if you get a chance, pick one of the steps on the Eightfold Path and practice it. And let's get together on Wednesday and discuss our insights and our experiences from having done that. So I look forward to it. So now's the chance in our gathering to give our gifts and our tithes and our offerings in support of One World. And as I say every week, thank you so much. It is 100% because of your generosity that we are able to continue to bring you the programs that we do. We are very grateful. So let's take a minute and just give thanks and commit and bless these offerings. Creator God, we come right now with such gratitude for the generosity of this community, for the abundance that showers upon us and sustains us at all times. We commit these gifts to the ongoing work of One World, to bring the messages of peace and love and compassion to the world, using the imagery and the language of the world's enduring faith traditions. We are so blessed to be able to do this work, and we are grateful for those who continue to enable us to do it. We say thank you, and so it is. And together we say, Amen.
Thank you so much for your ongoing generosity. You can easily donate to One World. Just go to our website, click on the Giving tab at the top, then the Donate link, and then this page will appear. And as you can see, there is a large Donate Now button in the center. That will take you to our giving app called Tithely. Or you can send a check to the address shown in the center of the page. Or you can also give using the PayPal link. Again, thank you so much for your continued generosity and support. For announcements today, first, Happy Mother's Day. We are thinking of all the mothers on Mother's Day and wishing you lots of love and joy on this very special day. So Happy Mother's Day. Second, are you looking for some activities to help you stay connected to a great group of people to share in your hopes and dreams? Well, please join us. Monday through Friday, we have a short morning meditation to get you centered for your day. On Wednesday nights, we have a discussion group to discuss the message from our Sunday service. And then right after the service, each Sunday, we have fellowship, a time to just say hi and to see everyone since we are not meeting in person yet. All of these activities are a great way to meet new people and to connect. So hope to see you real soon. And I hope you all have a great week.
So let's take the next few minutes and just bless our kids. Reverend Rebecca Johnson, our youth director, tells me that this month the faculty our kids are studying is power. And so they are going to explore power in their actions, power in their speech, and find out how the faculty of power can enhance and promote their ongoing spiritual journeys. We are so blessed to be able to have the kids program we have, led by such a creative and joyful and wise person such as Reverend Rebecca. We are grateful to her and to each and every one of our kids. So let's bless them. Let's remind them that we see the divine in them, that we love them, and that we are so proud of the light each and every one of them is. So together, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the divine in each and every one of you, because we do. So as we head into our closing song with the slides and the pictures, I just want to say thank you so much for being here with us at our gathering today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a fabulous and wonderful weekend and Mother's Day, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Remember, for those who want to join our new members class, the second class of our new members class, it is at noon today on the Zoom link which we used last week. And if you would like to join us but you don't have that link, please email at info@oneworldspiritualcenter.net. We are watching it right now, and we would be glad to send you the link. So again, have a wonderful Mother's Day, a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next Sunday. Thank you again.
Hit it, boys.
Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. Peace. I am a stand.
Have a great week, everybody, and we will see you next time, same place, same time.